Right, there we go. I've already filmed this intro once, but the mic wasn't plugged in, so you can tell I'm rusty. But as you can see by the mess in the office, we're getting ready for a filming trip. Now, it's been a little while since we've been away filming, but got loads of new toys to play with, loads of new camera gear. We've even got a new camera, or a couple of new cameras, and yeah, looking forward to giving it a good go. We relit the fire last night, went out fishing, me and Louis, for the first time this year pretty much. It's now May, so yeah, got us off to a start. Van's loaded, just the camera gear to sort out now, and we've got tomorrow off work, if you like, and then first thing Sunday morning, we are going, state of that, we are going fishing. Final destination is yet to be decided, but we're excited. So, see you there. We're doing it.
Doing it, finally.
We're actually going to France.
After what, 2 years?
It has been 2 years, mate.
Almost
Managed to
2
get
years.
a cheeky one in the middle of 2020.
Yep.
Don't know how we got away with that, but we did. And
yeah, long time coming.
long time coming indeed. And first time on the train. We usually quite like a kip on the ferry, don't we? And a bit of brekkie.
Bit of brekkie. First time on the train. I think I've been on it before, but I'm not sure. Long time ago, but no, gets us there in half hour. Be nice and quick. Then we've got about four hour drive on the other side from Calais to go and visit a new group of lakes we've not even been to yet. So
Nothing but a cluster of pins on a map.
yeah, be interested.
Took our fancy.
See what it's like.
It's like indeed. We're in France, mate.
Yeah, boy.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's actually quite warm, isn't it?
It's lovely and warm.
15 degrees, mate.
15 degrees.
At 4:45 in the morning. Scorchio.
Lovely job. 4 hours on the sat nav. Let's go.
Let's go.
How we doing?
Water the plants. How long we got?
Is it looking?
Half hour to go, mate. Half hour to go. Just listened to a podcast that made the time go a lot quicker, didn't it,
It
really?
did, to be fair. I had a 40-minute blink.
Yes, you did. And a little bit of a snore.
A little snoreroo. But
Yeah, no, I'm getting excited now. I'm starting to think about the lake a little bit. Well, I say lake. There's a lot of lakes in a small area.
haven't got a clue where we're going yet.
No.
But we know where we're starting, which is quite often the hardest part, isn't it? So,
Indeed.
yeah.
So we're almost there. Get some food and have a look round.
Good, is it?
No carps. Let's have a look.
Apparently not. It's a wicked lake, but
Cool spot down there as well.
the sign says no carp. And there ain't much point in being there, is there?
It doesn't really say no carp, but it says
Well,
it doesn't have carp.
no carp on the sign. But
What does it say? Perch.
perch, pike, zander and black bass. I'll be happy with any of them, but we are here to catch carp. So, we've started our mission. We've arrived at our chosen location, and yeah, the weather's spot on, everything's good, shopping's gone well, everything. Been to a couple of lakes so far. Both lakes have displayed a sign saying kind of essentially what fish are in this lake, and all of them have said perch, pike, zander, black bass, no mention of carp. So yeah, I'm just going to continue searching. We've got loads of lakes that we want to look at around this area. There's got to be 20 or 30 lakes to sort of at least look at. So yeah, we're just going to go with the flow and continue looking.
Seen a carp. The first carp we've seen all so far out of 3 lakes. Was only a small common, but it was right in the edge. Sort of almost looked like it was feeding as well, but it did bolt, so obviously a bit cagey, but definitely think it's worth lapping this one, don't you, mate?
100%.
Have a little look. And it's the first one that's not gated at all, no fence, no signs either, so it's definitely worth doing a lap. There's a few really tiny baby perch.
It looks like you can drive right around the other lake as well. It's bigger than, it's twice the size of this. So if we walk from here, left at the end of this bridge, follow it around, have a little look at the bigger one of these two. If we can see a few fish in the margins, then we'll just walk back to the van, wang the drone up, have a good fly over both of them. So I think with this weather, if they're in area, see them pretty quickly. So if not, then move on.
Well, that was 10 minutes of excitement and worth putting the drone up for, because we could see some fairly big dark shapes out in the middle of the river and also on the barrage next to us, but very quickly we learnt that it was bream and they are in fact spawning. So it's not a great sign. It is very warm out here, but we do still have a lot of options to go and explore, so onwards and upwards until the next one. We just need to see a mid-40, don't we? We just need to see a big carp somewhere. Just come back to the lake where we saw that little common earlier, because to be honest, we haven't really got much else to go on at this moment anyway. Had to pull a few favours from a few friends, sent a few messages out, because we have picked this area off our own backs with a lot of lakes in it, but apart from this one and the one that we were just at, we're not too sure on the area. So yeah, fired out a few texts. Hopefully while we're looking around this one, I'm going to properly look around this one, look all around the edge, getting the drone up now, because it is a massive edge, and when you're on these short trips, not going to lie, it is a massive game changer for quickly finding some fish. For one, to know that if they're even in the lake. So yeah, while we've got it, we would want to do some aerial shots for the film anyway, so have a little look, see if we can see any fish on it, and then yeah, go from there. But it doesn't look too bad. There's a couple of anglers on it now as well. One angler actually looks half kind of like he knows what he's doing as well, which is always promising. So yeah, we're going to carry on the search, have a little look round, and we'll catch up with you in a bit.
So how things can change.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we were a little bit despondent, to be honest, because despite about how many lakes we've had to view, it took a little while to find one, didn't it?
Yeah, we looked around quite a few in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of got to the end of our tick list, if you like, and we had literally seen one fish, and it was in this particular lake. We were in the process of debating whether or not we should drive 2.5 hours to an area, getting eaten alive here, to an area that we're a little bit more familiar with, and we decided to give this one more little go, and to be honest, fly the drone over and see if we could see a fish, because it's been hard going despite how sunny it's been. It's been really tricky. So yeah, after that we found a couple, didn't we? We found a group of 3 fish and a group of 2, and to be honest, it's kind of enough, because the most that's it's 5 more than we've seen all day, isn't it? So yeah, no, we're pretty happy. We've We found a swim right smack bang in the middle of the lake. We can fish both sides of a spit, so we're pretty happy, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good starting point. Like Tris was saying, for what we've seen so far, this is definitely our best option. And there's lots of active fishing prospects here as well. Like we've been looking around the edge. The margins are so deep. That's what I really like about it. Like when we got it, we saw that little common, didn't we, in the edge? And it's the margins are so deep, and it's really clear, and it just feels like they're going to get in the edge. So while this hot sun's out, I think there's going to be a good opportunity to bait a few little areas, a few little traps in the edge, and try and get them in feeding in close.
Yeah, definitely. What more could you ask for? And the sun's out, so not going to mess about, are we, Bob? I think we're going to...
First things first, I'm going to have a beer, mate.
I'm definitely going to have a beer, continue our lap, and hopefully see a few more fish in the edge.
Yep, let's do it.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Drink up there, Joe.
So, we've gone on the right side of this bit.
Have fun.
What's the
Whirlwind can't ignore the obvious. Great big tree line margin on the opposite side, which is where we saw the fish when we first come round. So obviously I'm going to have to put a bait over there. I think realistically the best bet's going to go over there with the boat. Boat's in the back of the van, I won't take long to pump that up and let the wind drift me over there and sort of hand place it. And then, well, I think I saw one show from the other side. I'd say around kind of central to this bay. Call it a bay. I'll call it a bay. It's a bay,
Yeah,
innit?
it's a bay.
It's a bay.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll have to try and find something around there. And then my right hand rod, realistically, I think is going to go kind of out of the way. I think you've still got the wind trickling straight down here, but it's kind of trickling around the corner as well at the same time, and it's going to be hard to ignore those sort of snagging margins down to my right. So I mean that could all change yet. You know, I haven't put a rig out yet, or a lead if you like, but yeah, just happy that we're actually somewhere with a beer in hand, with an hour's sleep, with carp in front of us.
Yeah.
Didn't seem likely about an hour ago.
No.
So no, I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy actually. Doesn't always go to plan. Hasn't gone to plan yet because I haven't caught one, but it doesn't always go to plan, as we well know, because you know half the time you're chasing pins around a map with absolutely no idea what each one sort of holds. So yeah, no, happy.
Finish these beers and get the rods out, shall we, mate?
Absolutely. I'm away already. I've only had one. I'm tired.
So you're going to use the boat to put your rigs over the other side?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm just working out sort of what kind of hook bait I want.
What are you thinking?
Don't know.
Hard bottom?
Maybe. You right, mate?
Yeah, done me. That was a very unexpected bite, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Did I press record on that camera, the other one?
Yeah. Oh, no, you didn't, unfortunately.
I was literally just pulled that one off of a time lapse and was just about to start filming the rods, like for no reason. And it absolutely bent round.
Shame.
Done me. It's a shame, but in one way it's a good sign. Like I have got all my end tackle back and my leader and everything.
Mosquitoes, man.
Oh, they're so bad. They're
They're
so
unbelievable.
bad.
I can't even hold the camera any longer.
Yeah, so it is gutting, but that is fishing, and
Take it as a positive, mate.
take it as a positive. They're on the feed.
Yeah, bearing in mind we've seen less than 10 fish.
Yeah, they're on the
I
feed.
think that's
and we've
a
had
good
a bite
sign.
in the first evening, so I'm actually seeing that as a productive.
Yeah. You gonna make any changes? Maybe don't.
I actually didn't go quite close to the snags that
Did you
time. Nah,
Yeah, I've come away from it.
I've come away from it. Yeah, because it is quite hairy over there.
Yeah.
There's a big tree branch. There's a dead tree in the water over there, and I decided to come. It's at least 2 rod lengths away from anything, but you saw how vicious that take was. That knew exactly where it was going to go, and it got there. Oh well, get it back out there.
You know what to do, mate?
Reset.
Crack
Let's
on.
go again. Well, good morning from sunny France. Thought I'd take this time really. It's our first morning here in France, and with the lack of sleep that we both had yesterday whilst we were travelling from the night before, thought it'd be best just to give you a bit of an update really. So in terms of getting the rods out, it was a bit of not a rush, but we got in and we didn't have too long before it was going to start getting dark, and we both wanted to use the boat to position our rods, you know, perfectly for the night, in the right spots, and we did just that. We got our rods out within a couple of hours. I opted to fish to my left, which is a tree-lined margin, but as I said earlier, the margins here are really deep and very clear, so it's easy to see the clearer areas on the bottom that this lake does have a hell of a lot of snags. I'm not just talking overhanging trees and bushes and branches in the edge. There's actually like a multitude of big, strange objects that are dotted around the lake. So I've got a set of pads out here to my right, and there's big clusters of sunken branches and sunken tree logs. There's even a bit of a car, it looks like a bit of a car engine, all sorts. It's pretty carnage, to be fair. So that's one thing to bear in mind, and unfortunately what that did lead to after I'd positioned the rods is 2 lost fish last night. The first one was a take completely out the blue, probably about sort of 45 minutes after placing the rod, which was my middle rod fished over to the margin over there, and yeah, just absolutely slammed up tight, fishing locked up, pulled the rod round. I was on it instantly. I was sitting right here, my rods are only there. And yeah, that managed to kite me on a tight line into the near margin snags. So I was in the boat, went over there, and yeah, as soon as I got there, I could see that the fish had very easily ejected the rig and just placed it nicely in a marginal snag for me. So I managed to retrieve all my leader, got all my line, didn't lose any end tackle at all, so that was good. And I came back to the bank, redone the rod, and got it repositioned for the night. Not too long after that, my right hand rod fished towards some pads also bust off. And we were having a barbecue at this time, so again we were very close to the rods. And yeah, out of nowhere, what can only be described, it's very cliche saying within fishing, but the reel went into actual meltdown. Like, out of nowhere, the rod was pulled up against the alarm. The butt eye has obviously stopped the rod from getting pulled in, and on a tight clutch it's ripped line off the reel, and I haven't experienced anything like that before. It was pretty nuts. Like, not really experienced anything like that. And as soon as I lift that rod up off the rest, it cut me off. So that's definitely between me and the pads. There's something there that has just cut through the mono. So what I've learned from that is I'm going to be going over to braid. But it wasn't all bad news, and thankfully I had my chance to redeem myself. So just on first light this morning, I had a take from my left rod now, so that's a bite on all 3 rods. And yeah, I managed to, after a very hairy battle, it was taking me all over the place. I was just, you know, legs were shaking the whole time because there are a lot of snags dotted around in front of me. And yeah, flicked the head torch on, went mental, took me back out again. So flicked the head torch back off, got it right close to the bank. As soon as it took that first breath, head torch flicked on and I netted it. And I've got a very, very nice common. So I think we're gonna get that out of the water now because the sun's just coming up, have a look at that fish, and then we're gonna have a catch up with Trist and see what he's up to today. So I decided not to weigh it because I just ripped my sling. Let's have a look at this one. Been behaved so far. There you go. Lovely French common. Hopefully more to come like this. So this one come off the margin, fish from the swim. Today I'm planning on going round there myself with 1 rod.
Well, finally, we've set at a lake. All the effort yesterday was worth it, and yeah, happy to say we're actually set up on some fish too. That, by the way, Lou, I don't know if you can see it or not, the cable's coming across the front of the lens.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sick.
So in terms of rod placement, you can pretty much seen already, we've opted for the boat. I mean, Lou's already touched on it, so I won't dive too deep about it, but the margins are so deep and snaggy. You can see why the carp are in them, but yeah, that's hence why we've used the boat to place the rigs. Not as close as we'd like to the margins and snags themselves, just because you've got to sort of try and be a bit sensible with, and yeah, take into consideration when the fish run where they're going to go. Having said that, Lou's lost 2 fish, and unfortunately so have I. Last night was a little bit brutal, really. We didn't have a lot of sleep the night before, as we've already said, but as soon as we kind of got off to sleep, I had a bream, which is always nice, especially when it was on, well, actually that particular rod it was on my hardest to place, so I actually didn't replace that rod last night, just because I knew it was close to the snags anyway. I didn't really want to disturb the swim of the boat, and I knew I had another 2 rods that were on the dance floor, if you like. The left-hand rod steamed off, which is actually in open water, but there's just so many snags out there. So as soon as I hit into it, I was still in contact with the fish, but didn't take long to go absolutely solid. And yeah, had to go out in the boat and retrieve that rig. And unfortunately, the fish wasn't on it. And then, after sort of shutting my eyes for another hour or so, after getting some early morning sunrise shots, my middle rod was off, and that's my other rod, which is right over to the other side of the bank. And hit into it, and I was in instant contact with the fish. It all felt good. but I think, in all honesty, I gave it a little bit too much. I'm fishing braided reel line, and yeah, the hook pulled. I mean, I think braided reel line's the right thing to do at the moment. I think Lou said as well he's going to change over to it because, you know, it's got to be 80 yards over there, I'd say, something like that. And I'm fishing bowstrings and locked up clutches. I just don't want them to take any line whatsoever. And to be fair, it worked. Bear in mind I'm fishing a rod length off of the snags. You know, it didn't do me in the snags. I maybe just gave it that little bit too much and popped the hook out. But it's a learning curve. I now know I've got a little bit of room to play with, and hopefully the next chance I get I won't ruin. In terms of bait and rigs, I've pretty much gone for my go-to really every time we're out here in France. I'm fishing a mix of nuts, crushed nuts, peanuts, but that 50-50 with boilie and crushed boilie. So a real sort of varied mix, but a lot of like food types in there. So I've gone for a balanced double tiger. Can't really go wrong. I've used it on all of our European trips really. And yeah, I'm obviously it's getting the bite, so it's working. Just got to land them now. All fished on the D rig. Again, fix that. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. It's a rig that I've used for such a long time now, and to be honest, I don't really use anything other than that. And another fish boshed on the same spot as, yeah, you've probably just seen on the video before Louis ruined it with a boat. But no, I'm joking, that was my fault. But they're still there, which is really, really good. I have actually just replaced that rod. I did see one show, and I decided to bring in my left-hand rod, which is on a clear spot out there, and sort of put a single bag with a little balanced tiger right in that area. And it's actually another fish is showing on it straight away, which is really good, even after the boat's gone over it. So just goes to show you, they don't really show off the boats as much as we thought they might. Right, well, that was interesting to say the very least. Definitely homing my boat skills this trip, but there we go. I'm going to do my talking now because I think this is going to beat 7 tons of shit out of me, basically. So, Jesus. Here we go. Be patient, but we'll give it a quick hello and get straight back. I would have thought it'd be tired by now, but there we go. Lovely grass carp, and I will take that because, yeah, it's a little bit of a kick to the teeth, losing a couple last night, but there we go, first one. And to say it was unexpected is an understatement, so only because it's so hot. But there we go, lovely grass carp, and my first fish on the bank this trip. So happy days. Oh. Straight in the neck. Oh. I'm taking that. All right. Still rolling. Cool. Oh, straight in the neck. Throat even. Right, we done? Yeah. We got to go public fishing, but we're not at a public lake apparently. Long and the short of it, because you don't need to know all the nitty gritty, is we're not allowed to fish here apparently. That's the easy answer. So we're off. We've got to pack up. We've got to go. I think we swerved a fine though.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to fine us for using the boat, but because we didn't have any cash, we
Gotta go.
he stopped his looking again. But anyway, yeah, whatever, we've got to go. So
Pack up.
we'll update soon.
To the next one. This is Tristan Peel's roadside meals.
Roadside meals, mate. Bang. Hello. Yo. Us again. New location. Oh, zoomed right into myself there. There we go. New location. It's looking good. Not too many options, I must be honest, in terms of swim. But the one swim that is available is big enough for the two of us. And there we go, tree in the way. It's tickled our pickles, isn't it, Bob? So we're here, let's do it. Only got a couple of hours of light left, I'd say though. But that'll be enough. Right.
Yeah, careful.
We're here. We're in the swim. It looks very cool, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna keep it short and sweet because we've only got a couple of hours left of light, and yeah, it goes without saying we'll pull our finger out really.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of decided what we're gonna do, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Over to you.
Over to you. I could carry on, but
No, so
I've eaten a lot.
there's some very good looking snags on the left hand side of this swim. So rather than
We've already
flip a
seen
coin,
fish there as well.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of fish there. Rather than flipping a coin and splitting out completely so someone's got open water, which is going to be a lot harder to find a spot, and one of us is in an area where we've seen fish with snags. There's a little flick there as well. Let's see that. We're gonna mix all the rods together so we've got an equal chance between us to put one on the bank, basically. So
we're here together.
yes,
We've come here together. We've both caught, sort of. And yeah.
team effort.
Team effort.
So let's get on with it.
Let's do it, mate.
Let's do it.
Morning.
Morning.
I was just about to do a piece to camera to update everything. Well, I suppose I'm going to do it now. A late night last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't get here till pretty late. By the time we'd decided what we were doing and discovering that we weren't allowed to use a boat in the end. It was quite a process getting all the rods out because it's very weedy. And it's not mega close range either. So, but anyway, I found a spot I was really happy with. Actually, decided to put 2 rods on it in the end, which wasn't the initial intention, but it's paid off. Started the night off. We got into bed about 12:30, and at 1 o'clock I just dozed off and my right hand tip went, my right hand rod went, and yeah, done me in the snag, unfortunately. So as you can imagine, quite upset. But not long after that, about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I had a tench. So I wasn't overly pleased with that either. But at 5, I had a cool carp. So mega fight. It was ridiculous. On the braid, long distance, screamed, kited, got stuck in the weed, got it out, and another weed bed got out, and then as soon as it got about halfway anyway, mental. Kept stripping line, had to strip loads of braid off because it was curly. And yeah, then it done me in a snag, a weed bed, about 2.5, 3 rod lengths out. And I honestly thought I was going to lose it at one point. I did call for Louis, but he was not getting up.
Sound though.
But yeah, eventually, after literally probably close to 15 minutes standing there, praying that it would come out the way it did, and straight in the back of the net. So I'm very happy, especially jumping on somewhere for an unexpected night to catch one fairly quickly.
Very quickly.
It's very good, and over quite a bit of bait as well. I ended up putting over a kilo of bait on that spot last night, all mixed bits and bobs, and actually I take off of a carp on 2 rods. I've got both the rods on the spot, so quite reassuring. So I got, after the fish, 5 o'clock, I've been up since then, put more bait out in the dark, and then tried 2 new fresh rigs and everything. Took some braid off, got everything ready, perfect. And literally 10 minutes ago, I put the rods back on the spots, and yeah, within that time frame, I had a tench. There's obviously fish on the spot already, so I had a carp after a tench last night, so
get it back out there.
Exactly. How about that for a comment? Wicked fish. The size of its tail, it's mad. Certainly explains the fight last night. But yeah, our result from last night. Couldn't be happier after a very last minute change of plan and lake in fact. But that is worth all the aggravation that we had yesterday. Probably low to mid 30, I'd say, but the colours on it are incredible. Makes me feel a little bit better about losing that one before this, and looks like the sun's holding off a little bit today as well, so let's hope that extends out the bite time. Could do with a shower though. No.
So, good morning from me. Bit quiet, well, so it was very quiet for me last night. Nothing happened on the rods, apart from a few liners. Didn't see anything showing either. To be honest, we were knackered again yesterday, and after a couple of glasses of wine, and we hit the sack, it was, yeah, well overdue sleep needed after the couple of hour drive to get here, and a lot of casting. So I'm fishing slightly different to Tris. So in this lake, there's a series of quite shallow bars, like that go out across the lake. I think they're like almost extensions of islands. There's bars in between a couple of islands, and then there's some bars on their own. And to be honest, the light was going so quickly yesterday after we found out pretty soon after launching the boat that we couldn't use it here. There was another angler on the other side of the lake, and he was kind of shouting something in French over to us, and the word boat was in it. So we did check the sign at the lake, and it did say inflatables were allowed. So as far as we were aware, we could use the boat. In hindsight, it's probably referring to the belly boats from the predator anglers. And yeah, as soon as we put the boat in the water, the angler on the other side of the lake was sort of waving his hands and shouting, so didn't want to upset anyone, so we whipped the boat out, deflated that, but then we had a big casting job on our hands because it is quite a weedy lake, but with these bars. So to be honest, to save a little bit of time so I could fish accurately for the night, I did clip up to a bar and just put 2 rods on it. Trist only fished 2 rods last night as well, which paid off for him. However, I think he's in slightly different water and he's near the snags, obviously, so that's quite a likely area for the fish to be spending some time. So I'm sticking with the bar, with the 2 rods on the bar at the moment, because it is supposed to get warmer later. So if they're cruising across it, there is 6 bombs of bait there and 2 bottom baits. Gone for a big tiger on one, balanced, and ever faithful snowman rig that I use with a little white tipper. But I'm going to put a 3rd rod out now. I've just clipped up further up the bar where it looks like a wider area, and I'm going to put a very blatant pink pop-up as a single, just cast directly in the middle of the bar on a little Ronnie, and yeah, just in case they start cruising over these bars, you know, when the sun starts coming out properly. I just want something really blatant there in their face, like a pink pop-up. Chosen pink because it's contrasting to the sandy, sort of browny, orangey, sandy bottom. So pink should stand out nicely against that, give it a bit of contrast. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So I'm going to get this out now. I think Tris is going to stick the kettle on again. Going to have another coffee, a bit of breakfast, and see how the day goes. Could all change yet, you never know.
Starting to get the 3rd rod out. Gone for a chod. An old favourite. Kind of perfect for this situation, really. I didn't really want to put many casts in. I put a couple just to sort of see what it's like, and it's spot on, really. About, I guess, 3 or 4 foot deep, a little bit choddy, in between 2 big beds of weeds. So, for a minute, I'm fishing the margins over there. So no reason why they won't be in this one.
Well, good afternoon. It's early afternoon, approaching sort of 2 o'clock, and it is absolutely scorching. It's so hot. Just had a little kip. Left the rods with him while I got on the bike and took a little cycle around the lake to get another perspective, and also to try and find some fish, which I didn't. I was unsuccessful. But the swim completely opposite here is free, and it's been free since early this morning. And I've been sitting here all afternoon trying to come up with all sorts of different plans to position my rods and feel confident of a bite for the day and for the night. But now I've been round and seen that swim, I can't really ignore the features that are in it. It's a bit of a shame to split up on the last night, because it's been a brilliant trip so far. It's been so nice to get out here and fish together again. It's been such a long time. But in terms of catching fish and to hopefully end with a fish from this lake, I feel like my best bet is to pack the kit away, take the handy cam with me, get the rods out, find some spots for the night at the opposite end of the lake, and fish up there on my own. It's a bit hard to peel myself away from this nice southwesterly that's pushing down here, but in all fairness, with the options that I'm left with down here, I just don't feel that confident. So I'm going to get a wiggle on, because I've got it in my head now, and if somebody turns up and goes in there, I'm going to be a bit disheartened. So I'm going to whip all the gear up now, pack the van, leave Tris with these essentials that he needs, drive around to the other side and start finding some spots for this evening, probably prepping with bait. So join me on the handy cam when I get round there. Finally managed to get all the rods out. Sitting there behind me, that one's just picked up a little bit of weed on the end. Marker float's still out, because I'm going to ping some boilies over there with the throwing stick. I've not been able to film much because it has been very difficult to find a spot for that last rod. It's fairly easy for the left and the middle rod. I'm only fishing 15 wraps out, so although it's quite a big lake, haven't gone too far. I wanted to fish comfortably, put quite a lot of bait out as well to spawn. Tris put about a kilo last night, I think he said, and obviously had 2 bites, so that's quite interesting to know. So yeah, I've put in a bit of bait. I've put 2 rods over it with some tiger nut hook baits, tipped with a bit of plastic corn, and I'm really happy with them 2 rods. It's the only clear sort of area, 8 foot, just sort of silty. It's not gravelly, it's just clear, it's just not weedy, but the other side of the swim is absolutely choked in weed. It's taken me the best part of an hour and a half to find a spot, I reckon. Lots and lots of casting with the marker, because then I need to see the depth, because the bottom's all over the place. But yeah, all sorted now. I'm just gonna stick some baits out with the throwing stick, and then chill out, have a beer, chill out, catch you in a bit.
Final afternoon of the trip, and to be fair, despite the ups and downs, it's been another good one. It certainly has. I mean, we've seen a lot of lakes, we've been to a lot of places, we've travelled to multiple different regions across France to find a place that really tickles our fancy. Because I mean, that's one thing I will say about us and our fishing is generally we won't settle until we are 100% happy where we are, or as happy as we can be, you know, with everything considered. So yeah, as I say, going into the last evening, and we've had a little bit of a change up. As I'm sure you already know, Louis has left me. Yeah, I know, I don't know why. Maybe it's me. But no, jokes aside, he's scooted off to the other end of the lake on the back of the wind. I mean, this is quite a, you know, a fairly strong southwesterly which is hacking down this bay, but I get it from his perspective, because I'm fishing the end with the snakes that could hold them. And to be fair, I did say to him, well, we could split our rubs up, like the initial plan was, split the rods up, have them sort of one of mine, one of Louis', one of mine and one of Louis', but yeah, even then there's still only a couple of spots up that margin worth fishing, and you know, we've got the lake to ourselves, and it kind of, yeah, makes sense to make the most of it really. So anyway, he's gone up the other end, and yeah, it leaves me to this little bait all on my own. I don't think I'm really going to change much from last night, to be honest. No real need to. I have fished the same spot all day, but I haven't been sort of casting around unnecessarily. I think it's just been so hot today, and they're just not feeding. They're just not on it. They can't even find them. Like, we've been up all the trees, been up, and it's all the margins that we could actually get to. And to be fair, even the drone, we put the drone up a couple of times to try and locate, you know, numbers of fish, but we haven't found a single fish. We've seen a couple of small shows, but even that could be tench. So I think night time's going to be the one, which we kind of thought anyway. So back to the spots from last night. There's a kind of clear patch off of a massive tree that's gone down, and that's where I'm fishing. I've got one in about 4 foot of water and one in about 6 foot of water, I believe. Essentially the same spot. Essentially the same spot, although there's a bit of weed in between the two patches that I'm fishing, but I'm kind of still treating it as one spot. I'm baiting it in a line. I mean, they're only about, I'd say, 1.5 rod lengths between both rods at the same distance. So yeah, I'm kind of baiting in a line between the two, and I actually put a fair bit of bait out last night. I put a well over 1 kilo of mixed bits and bobs, my standard European mix, if you will. And yeah, they obviously got on it. It was a little bit, say, a risk. 1 kilo isn't a lot of bait, but I'm a handful of bait kind of guy. I don't usually fish a lot of bait at all, especially in times like this when you're really just trying to nick a bite. So yeah, to put probably 1.5 kilos of, you know, proper food bait was a bit of a ballsy move from me, really. But it has paid off, and I'm going to do exactly the same tonight. Unfortunately, that last one didn't turn up.
Oh well, there's always next time.
I just drank wine and ate cheese last
Did you?
night.
I felt pretty confident. Did you?
It's the most shows we've seen of an evening.
Definitely.
Into early hours this morning. Just didn't turn into a bite. It's weird.
Didn't materialise, did it?
That's all a learning curve, and I think we walk away richer from this session.
Definitely.
We don't have wet mats this morning, but yeah, learnt loads. So
See you on the next one.
See you on the next one. We can't wait.
Peace out.